So why can't we just forgive and move on? Because forgiveness doesn't lead to closeness or safety.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy thoughtful, real conversations about relationships, growth, and everything in between. Now, today's topic is something that hits very close to home, and that is forgiveness in marriage. So I've stitched together some videos that we're all going to watch together, and I'll be giving my thoughts on the other side. So please make sure you watch till the end to hear what I have to say. Let's dive in.
So why can't we just forgive and move on? Because forgiveness doesn't lead to closeness or safety or connection. Now, forgiveness can lead to peace. That means we forgive them to let go of the debt that they owe us. That's why we say people owe you an apology. It's because they took something from you. There's a debt, there's a wound, they hurt you. And we can intentionally let go of that resentment and cancel the debt that they owe us because we know they can't really pay us back anyways. But at the same time, forgiveness alone doesn't lead to trust being rebuilt, does it? And a relationship lives or dies based on trust. We can forgive and move on, but if that person is still in your life and you're asking, why can't I just forgive them and everything feel okay? That's just not the way it works. Your body is too smart for that. It knows they aren't a safe person. It knows they aren't trustworthy. Why would your body want to give more of itself to someone who is only taking advantage of you or hurting you? If someone isn't interested in listening to your pain and validating your experience as real and being curious and taking accountability and repairing any hurt that they've caused, you can forgive them all you want, but you'll never feel close to that person, will you? Now, that's not to say that closeness after a betrayal isn't possible. It absolutely is, but only if both people are working towards repair and reconciliation. And that takes not only forgiveness from one, but also a willingness to take accountability and validate wounds from the past with consistent change in behavior. Forgiveness is wonderful, but intimacy and trust and connection will always require more than just forgiveness.
Forgiveness begins when you're able to look at people with compassion, no matter how much they hurt you, and you stop being a victim. You stop thinking, poor me, and you start saying, thank you. Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you for teaching me the lesson that I needed to learn. Even if that lesson was, I never want to experience that again. Thank you. Because that lesson I will carry with me forever. Thank you for empowering me to find myself in the midst of darkness. I will no longer be a victim. I will no longer hold a grudge. I will no longer be angry. And I now let you go in love. I wish you nothing but the best. And yet I thank you for everything you've taught me.
Most people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Relationships require a lot of forgiveness. They will hurt you, they will disappoint you, and they will upset you. The real question is whether you're willing to go through the ups and downs of life with them by your side. I used to expect relationships to be perfect all the time, but I've learned that love isn't about perfection. It's about growth, understanding, forgiveness. It's about realizing that it's actually okay if your partner upsets you, if they make you angry and make mistakes. Obviously not mistakes like cheating or abuse, because every couple faces challenges and doubt, but it's about how you choose to confront those challenges that defines your relationship. It's about having those difficult conversations, to open your heart even when you feel like you're being so vulnerable. And it's about recognizing that even though it's hard, the journey is worth it, because true love that lasts a lifetime is built on a foundation of forgiveness. So as you try to understand the craziness of relationships, remember this: forgiveness isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength.
Sis, can I give you some great advice that I had to learn for myself? Forgive him. I know it hurts. Forgive him anyway. I know you've forgiven him before. Forgive him again. Why? Because being unforgiving is killing you, killing your marriage, and killing any chance you guys have to move forward. Forgiveness is necessary to be in a marriage. True forgiveness, not the kind that you forgive today and bring it up tomorrow, but I want you to really forgive him. Forgive him with everything that you've held against him, everything that he's done to you, and every pain that you may feel. Forgive him and start over. And if he makes a mistake again, forgive him again. Remember that today and carry on and have a great marriage.
All right. So, as I said before, today's topic is one that hits close to home for many people, and that's forgiveness in marriage. Now, forgiveness sounds simple on paper, but when you're in the thick of a real life situation, when trust has been broken or when you've been deeply hurt, forgiveness can feel like the hardest thing to give. But is it necessary? What does it look like in practice? And how do you forgive without enabling bad behavior or losing your sense of self? We're going to dive into all of that, break it down into manageable insights, and talk about how forgiveness can actually be a strength, not a weakness, in a healthy, thriving marriage. Now, let's start by talking about what forgiveness actually is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. Forgiveness is not pretending that what happened didn't hurt you. It's not about sweeping things under the rug, and it's definitely not about excusing or justifying harmful behavior. Forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation either. You can forgive someone and still need to take a step back or create new boundaries. Forgiveness is, as at its core, a decision. It's a choice to let go of resentment, not because the other person necessarily deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Carrying anger, bitterness, or pain like a backpack full of bricks just weighs you down. So, if I was to give an example, let's say your partner forgot your anniversary, not once, but repeatedly. You've told them it matters to you and they just don't seem to register it. You feel hurt, unseen, unimportant. Forgive- Forgiveness doesn't mean you say it's fine and then let it keep happening. It means you process that pain, express it honestly, and choose not to hold on to the bitterness after it's been acknowledged and addressed. It's about freedom and not denial. Now, let's talk about why forgiveness is such a critical part of marriage. First and foremost, marriage is made up of two imperfect people. You will hurt each other, you will make mistakes. If you expect perfection from your spouse or from yourself, you're going to live in a constant state of disappointment because forgiveness creates room for growth. Now, when your partner knows that making a mistake doesn't mean they are going to be permanently punished, they are more likely to be honest. Vulnerability thrives where grace is present. So, let's say your partner made a financial decision without you. Maybe they lent money to a family member without telling you. You're furious because this impacts your shared goals. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean you pretend it's okay, but if they own up to it, apologize, and take responsibility, forgiving them allows you to move forward without using it as ammunition in every future argument. Moving on to the third point, which is forgiveness versus enabling. Let's be real. Sometimes people confuse forgiveness with enabling, but there's a line, and it's important to understand the difference. Forgiveness says, I choose to let go of resentment. Enabling says, I'll ignore this bad behavior and pretend everything is fine. Forgiveness should not mean tolerating repeated disrespect or abuse. It doesn't mean there are no consequences or boundaries. In fact, sometimes the most loving and forgiving thing you can do is to say, I forgive you, but I can't contribute like how can I say this? I forgive you, but I can't continue to like this unless things change. I don't know if you get what I mean. So, to explain it further, let's say your spouse has a pattern of speaking to you disrespectfully when they're angry. If you keep saying it's okay and moving on without any conversation, that's not forgiveness, that's avoidance. True forgiveness in this case would mean saying, I love you, I forgive you, but I need to feel safe and respected. We need to work on how we communicate. That's how you handle such a situation. Now, we're going to talk about the process of forgiving. In all honesty, forgiveness is a process and not a switch. Some wounds take time, and that's okay. So, step one is acknowledging your pain. Don't skip over it. You can't heal what you don't confront. Step two is expressing your feelings. This is where communication comes in. You have to be able to say, this hurt me, or I felt betrayed, without fear of being dismissed. And moving on to step three, which is deciding to forgive. That decision might not come right away. And after you decide to forgive, the feelings may take time to catch up. So imagine your partner lied to you, maybe about something small, maybe about something big, right? But a lie is a lie. They've apologized. They are trying to rebuild trust. You've decided to forgive them, but you still feel triggered sometimes. That's normal, very normal. Because forgiveness doesn't erase memory, it just gives you a path forward that isn't ruled by bitterness. Now, forgiveness and trust are two different things. You can forgive someone and still not trust them yet. Trust is earned, it takes consistency, transparency, and time. If your spouse cheated and you've chosen to forgive them, that's a powerful step. But it doesn't mean you're immediately back to full trust. They may need to be extra transparent, attend counseling, or be patient with your healing process, right? Forgiveness opens the door, but rebuilding trust is walking through it brick by brick. The key here is mutual effort. If your partner is doing the work, showing up, and respecting your healing, that's a relationship that can be restored. But if they're demanding instant trust just because you forgave them, that's a red flag, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about those moments when forgiveness feels impossible. What do you do when the hurt is just too deep? First of all, start by giving yourself compassion. Forgiveness doesn't always happen quickly. Some wounds are layered, so it's okay to take your time. The next thing is ask yourself, what are you holding on to by not forgiving? Resentment can feel powerful, but it often turns inward. It affects your mood, your energy, even your physical health. Also, seek support. Ask a therapist, a counselor, or even a trusted friend to help process the pain. Forgiveness isn't something you have to figure out on your own. And if the situation involves ongoing harm and emotional abuse, then you are not obligated to forgive in the traditional sense. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away and heal from a distance. So, forgiveness in marriage is not about pretending everything is okay, it's about choosing to heal. Sometimes together, sometimes individually, and refusing to let pain define your future. It's about maturity, growth, and love. Not just love for your partner, but love for yourself, because holding on to hurt is heavy and you deserve peace. Thank you so much for spending time with me. If this resonated with you or helped you in any way, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you struggled with forgiveness in your marriage, and how did you handle it? Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.